What's up, guys? This is No Social, and today we're taking a look at a completely new Battle Royale game that claims it's not a Battle Royale game. Of which I'd like to start out with, it's a Battle Royale game, just with more perks. As of recording this video, the game was released May 1st, 2021. I'm writing this on May 1st, 2021. So this shit is fresh out the oven. Brand spanking new. So new it's gasping for air, crying out for its mother. And yes, somebody bring this infant game its baba because it's going to need it. Currently, it's out on Early Access, which I've come to find some really decent games recently on Early Access. Games like GTFO, Valheim, Dyson Sphere Program, the list goes on. While this game doesn't necessarily hit the ranks quite yet for me like GTFO does, this game does have some interesting mechanics in place that I know I will enjoy for a while playing this game. Disclaimer: take this video as a review of the game so far. I've played a couple of hours and I have a bit on my mind about it. I also heard on the street that the developers are going to wipe the progress from the game once it comes out of Early Access, so take most of the gameplay critiques with a grain of salt, because what you see here might be entirely different from what you actually play when the full release does happen. To start, no cap, I'm going to tear this game apart in some regards, so again, full disclaimer. So I was browsing on Steam looking for my next fix, and I came across this game, Scavengers, being that it was on the front page of Steam, literally right there in front of my face. So I decided to take a look at it on my stream, and I'm looking at its description, and I hugely based whether or not I'm going to buy a game purely off of what other people are saying about it. So far, what I'm seeing from this game, pure mixed reviews, and for good reason. Now you're probably thinking, man, this guy is literally talking shit about this game. Well, hold your horses, because I'd like to think of the mixed reviews as almost an analogy of what the game actually is. Mixed in itself. I feel like the game can't really make up its mind as to what it wants to do. And that's not necessarily too bad because it's starting out, it's brand spanking new. But let's get into it. I decided that I thought the concept itself was cool, so I checked out the first video on the Steam page. It's basically the intro plus commentary of what Scavengers is, with what I'm assuming to be one of the devs from the team talking over the video feed. The video is called the Deep Dive Trailer for those that want to see it for themselves, and also those that want to fact check me. Here's my take from the trailer. I have 3 key points. Now bear with me for these 3 key points, because these are vital key points just to start off on any game where you're trying to bring out to the consumer. Here's my 3 things from this one trailer that these devs utterly messed up on. First things first, they claim that they break the Battle Royale meta, of which I would argue this is still vastly inside the bubble of Battle Royale. They claim that this is an original IP, which clearly, it is not. If anyone has ever heard of the cycle, it's a literal mechanical copy-paste. Scavengers adds a Apex Legends skin overlay, as the cycle adds a Fortnite skin overlay. It's that simple. I'm really just tired of hearing developers claim that they have something completely original. Originality is dead as far as I'm concerned, especially when you're targeting a market that's already in existence. It's not like this game is bringing in an entirely new concept to the floor. The cycle just never had the fan base to pop off. And lastly, low-key, it sounds like they either hired the same voice actors from Apex Legends, being that one dude sounds like a 45-cent knockoff of Bloodhound, and other Scavengers sound eerily similar to other characters from Apex Legends as well, but I'll let you do that Easter hunt for yourself.
There, let's move. The fastest way to get a lead.
Not only do the characters sound like the ones from Apex, but in the game itself you are choosing between a number of select characters with specific traits among them. This is not new in gaming whatsoever, but there's just too many similarities just by looking at the roster view. You might as well just call the game Scavenger Legends and call it a day. Now, if you watch this video to the end, you'll see that I have some really good things to say about the game, gameplay, content, resource gathering, so on and so forth. But let's just take this in real quick. How many times as gamers have we been promised one thing, but then it goes another? Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout 76, No Man's Sky, just to name a couple. I don't mean to be so critical about it, but give me a break, man. I'm just sick and tired of hearing this shit. Just tell me it's a more flushed out Batoru Rowaru and call it a day. You don't have to sell me on your personal beliefs of the game in order to make a buck. If the game is good, I will spend the cash, no cap. I have literally spent $85 on a pack of skins in Valorant with no qualms whatsoever. For those of you who do not know, Valorant is a free game. The skins provide no enhancement, it is purely cosmetic, and I will absolutely give Riot more of my money if they make better skins. TBH, that Sylvanas pack was pure garbage, and the Forsaken pack was alright at best. It's kind of just the Reaper pack with a different color in my opinion. For those OGs out there, Glitch Pop and Prime are for the GOATs. We both know this, come on. But my point is, hands down, I'll never trust a developer that's lying to me from the get-go. People can say it ain't lying, but bro, this dude's lying and I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not. Don't lie to me. Just tell me your game is a new and improved form of Battle Royale, PvPvE, which is not a new concept in the world of Battle Royale specifically, and call it a day. It's that simple. Okay, no social, but how's the gameplay? Alright, so enough about trash talking the devs. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the game. If you're a fan of the Division series, you'll like what this game has to bring to the table in regards to killing mobs. I was killing these fools left and right with Valora's shotgun, and it felt very satisfying. Overall, the combat, super smooth. That's the best thing this game has to offer, and I think they have that in the bag. The combat system, really decent. I will say there were a couple of bugs where I was actually like shooting one of the mobs on the 3rd floor of a building, and I was on the floor of the map, and this mob, instead of just falling, like showing that he was falling down from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor, because he actually did fall with some health, this dude just frame drops like place by place. You can just see him just slowly just going from the 3rd floor to the 1st floor in frame motion, in like as he's like standing. There's no like falling animation, which was a little weird to see, but other than that, combat's overall pretty good. When huge mobs come at you, you and your team can start taking them down, and you'll just see bodies flail everywhere one by one. I think they should fix the ragdoll physics. It's a little bit too janky as of right now, but it is early access. What do you want from them? Overall, I thought it was very cool. The combat against enemy teams is also satisfying as well, especially when you're going against a team with better gear. And yes, there is a crafting system where you can craft your gear outside of the PvP matches. If you have better gear inside the game, which you don't pick up during the gameplay, you have to literally craft some gear before you even start the game, but you get the resources by playing the game, right? So you see where this leads off to. It's not necessarily pay to win, so we can take that out of the equation, but there is something a little bit unfair about that, right? Because there's not necessarily a level ranking system. It's more you're dropped in with other players, and other players can have better gear than you, giving them the ultimate advantage over you, right? Fortunately, I don't think the advantage as of right now is anything too big to the point to where it's just entirely game breaking, but that is something to consider, that when you start out in this game, you will go through the tutorial, and then this game will just drop you off in the middle of a map, hopefully in a place where there's resources that you can gather, and you're going against people who have been playing 50 plus games with way better gear than you. I think that kind of personally takes the skill out of the competitiveness of the game, and anything that's kind of like that also brings in like pay to win features, and I'm not necessarily too interested in the game that's pay to win, right? I want skill based games where everyone has equal footing in a match, right? In Apex Legends, you can have different skins for your characters, but overall everybody comes in no shields. You're looking for weapons, you're looking for shields, you're trying to take each other out. Same thing with Fortnite, another battle royale game, right? You go in with no shields, no weapons, different skins, but it doesn't do anything to affect your performance inside of the game. It might make you a little bit more hype, you know what I'm saying, so you actually want to do better, but other than that, other than the psychological form of it, there's not really anything too crazy to be able to change the gameplay mechanics into your favor. Unlike this game, where there is actually a crafting system both inside of the game and outside of the game, where the crafting system outside of the game does improve your ability to do more inside of the game. That needs to be changed because everyone should have an equal footing in a battle royale game. You can't have one person or a couple of people with OP armor going into the game against a whole bunch of noobs. Although it's not for sure that that person would win, the odds are definitely in his favor. And that's not necessarily what a battle royale is, right? Everybody gets an equal footing in a battle royale. But again, this game claims that it's not battle royale, or the game rather claims that it's a better, improved version of a battle royale system. And I, again, like to disagree with that entirely. That's not true, especially when you're adding mechanics that give people favors over others. That's not what battle royale is. The loot mechanics are interesting in that people don't drop weapons, but rather they drop resources, right? So your main objective is in the game is to gather resources. It's not necessarily to kill each other, although killing each other and taking out enemies is a plus because you then get their resources and they get taken off the leaderboard. You have the top 3 teams, where it shows on the top right of your corner. That'll show you who's in the lead with the most amount of resources because Mother wants them resources. And who is Mother? Good question. Let's go into the story of the game. Basically, you're one of the last human beings being sent back to Earth to gather resources. What happened was that the moon was hit by an asteroid. And so the moon is all cut open and there's rocks all over the place, causing major windstorms on Earth, making it vastly inhabitable for human beings to live on the planet anymore. On top of that, there's also a virus, right? So you're not living on the planet, you're essentially living in a space station controlled by an AI known as Mother. Mother's objective is to save humanity. Mother needs you to go back to Earth to gather resources to stop a virus from taking over the world. You're also being pit against other humans because the AI controlling the ship, Mother in this case controlling the space station, holding all of us monkeys, she likes to generate competition because she feels that's how you'll gather more resources. Now here's my thing with that. If I'm one of the last human beings and my fellow other last human beings are part of the last human beings and we're going out for resources on a dead planet, I get that, right? Like that's cool. Let's all, let's all get together. Let's go to this dead planet and let's try to gather some resources so that we can get our planet back, right? That's cool. My question is, why am I being pit against other human beings when we're literally the last of our kind? There's food to eat in order for your character to survive, but I never really found use for the eating mechanism. It doesn't really affect the gameplay as of right now. If you don't eat throughout the game, it's not like I haven't died over a lack of berries. So there is that. Like, I get the concept. I think it's pretty cool, and if they implement it in a way that food is actually necessary and the inventory is larger so that you can hold more items, then yeah, that would be great. Because right now the inventory is bumkiss. You can only literally hold like maybe 5 things, and 5 things is just vastly not enough from what I need in order to experience a good game. One thing that is absolutely needed though is your stamina. If you run out of stamina, your character gets super sluggish. Most of the times it's extremely difficult to navigate around, and especially when you're getting attacked by other players, it's usually the first one to run out of stamina will tend to be the first one dead. There are stamina packs and stamina boosts, and as well as med kits, health packs, and such in order to raise your stamina and raise your health as well, so do keep that in mind. Now for spawning, the game uses RNG for spawning, which is complete bumkiss. I'm sure this is a feature that'll change fairly soon. They'll probably do an orbital drop like they did in the cycle, right? But we'll see how it goes. Basically, the spawning puts you somewhere in the map, most likely next to some loot spots, so you have the ability to start off in a spot with tons of loot. On the flip side, you could also spawn in a place with no loot. And again, we want to talk about what is making this game fair, right? Battle Royale. It's not like one person has an advantage over another in current Battle Royale games. So we already spoke about the armor and how that's kind of unfair starting out the game, especially if your brand spanking new to it. And now there's also RNG as well. Basically, like I just said, you're put in the map anywhere. You could literally just spawn anywhere in the map with your teammates. You can get a good luck draw, or you can get a bad luck draw. And if you get a bad luck draw, you're most likely going to have to walk or run probably about 300 to 500 meters in order to get to a spot with some loot. And that's a sizable amount of time to have somebody else get some loot who's already at that location because they spawned at that location, and just obliterate you while you're just trying to find some loot. Not necessarily fair in my opinion, but it's also not necessarily game breaking as well. Surprisingly, it's really not game breaking. I think that the RNG system as of right now has a pretty decent position, being that, I mean, I've played about 10 to 15 games, and the spawning rate at which I spawn next to loot, I would say it's about 80-20, that I 80% spawn next to a place where there is loot for me to grab onto. So I can't really bag on the RNG I can't bag on the spawning necessarily, because it is quite decent, but again, there is that aspect where it can be hugely unfair. Now let's go into the characters. You can choose between a couple of legends, and I will call them legends because this is essentially Apex Legends just reskinned. You can choose between a couple of legends, with each legend having its own traits and abilities. And yeah, the legends, they look interesting. They kind of look like Star Wars players, honestly. They look interesting, but I feel like the legend system has got to go. Like the character, the choice of characters, that stuff it's got to go. Give me this. Give me a system where I can have my own character, like in The Division, where it's a character creation system at the beginning of the game, after the tutorial. Give me that. When I match up with my teammates, give me the ability to pick specific traits and abilities. So like there's a tank, there's a support, there's a ranger. Give me that so that I have the specific weapons in place for that class, but I have my own character. I'm sick and tired of seeing people drive up legends like I'm supposed to give a shit about who these people are. These are just regular human beings. There's nothing special about them. So there's no point in having them be like a sort of legend-esque aspect of character choice models. Like there's no point. They're regular people. So let me just make my own person and call it a day, right? I feel like that would make the game a little bit more interesting. But that's just my opinion. Moving on to the resource gathering. The resource gathering reminds me of the Lost Planet series, where you have to get the goo from the alien bugs in order to keep your score up and stay warm, basically. It's kind of like that. So let's kind of just break it down, the similarities in mechanics. So basically, this is a division shooting / mob mechanic type of system. This is a Fortnite and the Cycle Battle Royale style of survival, with the Lost Planet resource gathering and killing of mobs. Also with Apex Legend voiceovers. Talk about original. And I really want to harp on the originality piece, right? Because I will say it again, I'm sick and tired of listening to devs tell the public that what they have is original. There's nothing ever like it's seen before. Developers, please get the fuck out. Get out with that nonsense, because if you want to lie to my face about you having originality, I'm not going to give you any of my money. It's very simple and very easy. I'm clapping my hands as I'm saying this because it is that easy. Bro, just tell me you have a new and improved Battle Royale game with PPE loans. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me you have a new and improved system copying over the same mechanics from previous titles, but what makes your game stand out is that you have A, B, and C. Don't tell me it's original. They don't exactly say that it's original per se, but they want to play around like it is. Just listen to the video, my guy. They want to play around like it is an original piece. And boy, could I tell you, this is far from original. This is the furthest from original. I've seen games come out that were original and were shit, absolute pure shit, but they were true to themselves and they actually were original, right? That's the thing here, is that if the game is going to be true to itself, then there's some promise. If the game is gonna lie to me, especially in early access, that's a little bit sus, you know what I'm saying? We got an imposter among us, you know what I'm saying, guys? So, that's all I'm saying. I won't give the game any of my money, but since the game is free to play, I will give it some of my time. Before I wrap up, actually, I'm gonna, one last thing. The game needs a recent players list, so I can know the people I was going against before the game, or I was playing with rather. The people, like, let's say if I'm in a team and I go into one of the games, I don't know, like, I can see their usernames, but what I can't see is the feature to be able to add them to a friends list. So I can see the people. I can't see their hashtag number. I can't see my own name plus hashtag number, which is very confusing. I have to wait until the game's over to be able to get my information to send that out to people. But you can't add people during the game. So when the game's over, you already lost out on being able to add those people. So as of right now, the only way to add people, I found a little bit of a way. The only way to add people right now in that game is by literally sending over your Discord link. That's it. Which is kind of shitty because the community for this game so far is actually really decent. And if there's one reason I will join a game, it's absolutely because of the community. I played a game with some really cool people and I couldn't add them to a party during the game, and I couldn't find their names anywhere after the game was over. That left me as a very sad gamer. In fact, it was only till I started dropping my Discord over the chat, like I said, that I was actually able to get with some really cool people and play a couple of games. Now I get it, it's early access, but if they want to build something with this game, and I'll say it again, I said it twice because of the importance of this, right? If they want to build a good game, you have to have a good community. And a community cannot be built if no one can fucking add each other. True or not true? I'm literally going down an endless loop of trying to hit the jackpot lottery on the name search tool, and that ain't giving me shit. It's just returning with, oh, this play doesn't exist. Motherfucker, this play doesn't exist. I just played with them. All right, let me wrap this up. My blood pressure getting a little too high. Overall, do I think this game has potential? Absolutely I do. I think this game can be easily a hype train of a game. People might actually be into this type of battle royale, but the game has to stop being so much like other games and be more like itself. I think initially the devs wanted to release something, so they had, to combine different elements from other games in order to make something playable. And they achieved that. That's fine. Now it's time for them to take off with it and do something of its own accord. Because if they don't, this game is literally just a copy-paste of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 other games just put into one. It don't make sense. That's why it's got mixed reviews right now, because it's trying to do too much. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm not calling the developers stupid. That's just how the saying goes, but if you take it offensively, that's just on you. If they can take off and fly with this, good for them. Currently, as of right now, I know I said this game has potential, but I don't see much of them taking off and flying with this game as of right now. There's too many similarities with other games. And I think this bubble that they've claimed that they've broken out of, they've only made it harder for them to break out of. They claim that they've broken out of the Battle Royale bubble. And that is the furthest from the truth. If anything, they've only constrained themselves even further into the bubble that is Battle Royale. Because now, not only are they claiming that they're not abiding by the Battle Royale rules, although they are blatantly abiding by the Battle Royale rules, they have to upgrade and find some sort of way to keep the saying as it goes that they are breaking the mold, of which they are currently not. And that's just a new development piece after new development piece after new development piece, and nothing gets anywhere. Do what Fortnite did. Create a niche that's entirely simple for anybody to be able to get into and roll with it. If you really want to break the mold simply and roll with it. Don't just take one thing from one game, take another from another game, and do that about 6 different times until you just have a game and then say, oh yeah, this breaks the mold, my guy, because no, it doesn't. The only people you're lying to is yourself. And I don't think people are willing to put money into games anymore with lying developers. And I'm not saying blatantly that they're lying, although I am saying that they're lying. I'm more just saying, like, get over your ego, bro. That's just it. Get over yourself. Come to us with some realness, Scavengers. Come to us with some realness. Come to the gaming community with some realness. Tell us what you have. Tell us about your product. This is Shark Table, my guy. Shark Tank. You know what I mean. Not Shark Table. But I'll put a table and I'll put a shark on it, then I'll call it Shark Table. You know what I'm saying. This is Shark Tank, my guy. And us as the gaming community, we have the choice to determine whether or not a development team has the right to be able to put their game in our market. It's not the other way around. We're not just going to be like, oh yeah, this developer made a game, I guess it's pretty cool, it's whatever. No. Because there's too many games, especially there's too many Battle Royale games on the market right now. For anybody to just think that they could come into the market and be like, oh yeah, we're going to take over the market. No, that's not true. Absolutely not, because they have about 50 other competitors to compete against. And now, I mean, granted, I'm probably taking their statements a little too far. I'm exacerbating a little bit too much. But again, I really just want to hold down on the fact that I've been lied to as a gamer from developers. I've been lied to from developers so many times in my life that I am sick and tired of it, bro. If you told me I literally was a trash collector, picking up trash on the streets of New York, trash picker-upper simulator, if you told me that there was a game like that, I'd probably play it. Because at that point, at least I know what I'm playing, right? I can't tell you what I'm playing so far with Scavengers, because it's just scavenging everywhere. From everything. There's an idea. If it's a new idea, Scavengers will probably scavenger it, right? Keep that in mind. But overall, that's just my review of the game so far. It's on early access, it's on Steam, it is free to play. So you're more than welcome to find your own opinion on the matter, find out what you think. I'm bagging on it too hard, but that's because I'm just sick and tired of being lied to. And that's no social, and I'm just being honest. Because that's all I can be in this world, honest and truthful. And this is just my opinion. take it with a grain of salt, because this shit might actually change. It's early access, literally just came out. As of recording, is May 2nd right now. I wrote this on May 1st. I'm recording May 2nd. It literally just came out yesterday. So let's give it some time. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes out of it. But as of right now, I give this game a thumbs down. Not for the gameplay, but for the development team trying to make like this game is something entirely different when it really isn't. Because that shit I don't roll with. But again, like, follow, subscribe, and share. This is No Social No. See you guys next time. Peace.